Close your eyes and let yourself settle into complete comfort. Tonight, we're going to explore something elegant, something associated with celebration, with luxury, with special moments. But we're not going to focus on the wine itself. We're going to explore the vessel, the bottle. Tonight, we'll discover the surprising, sometimes explosive, always fascinating history of the champagne bottle. Let your breathing slow and deepen. There's nowhere to be, nothing to accomplish. Just rest. Hear and listen as we journey through glass and pressure and innovation and time. Picture a champagne bottle. You've seen them countless times. At weddings, New Year's Eve, celebrations of all kinds. The distinctive shape, heavy, solid, dark green glass, thick walls, a deep punt, that indentation in the bottom, a mushroom-shaped cork held by a wire cage, foil covering the top, a label, elegant and often understated. It looks simple, looks like just a bottle, but it's not. It's a pressure vessel, an engineering marvel, a container designed to hold liquid under enormous force, to contain carbonation that wants desperately to escape, to keep bubbles trapped until the moment of opening. Until the celebration begins, inside that bottle, the pressure is immense. 6 atmospheres, 90 pounds per square inch, about 3 times the pressure in a car tire. This pressure pushing constantly against the glass, against the cork, trying to escape, trying to explode. The bottle must contain it, must resist it, must hold firm for months or years until opened. This requires special glass, special thickness, special shape, special everything. A regular wine bottle would explode instantly if you tried to carbonate wine in it, would shatter, would send glass shards flying like shrapnel. Dangerous, deadly even. The champagne bottle evolved over centuries, through trial and error, through explosions and failures and innovations and gradual improvements, each generation learning from the last, each innovation building on previous knowledge, until we arrived at the modern champagne bottle, reliably strong, consistently safe, boringly predictable in its reliability, which is exactly what you want in a pressure vessel. Let your jaw relax, let your shoulders drop, let your whole body release any tension it's holding. Like pressure being released, like carbonation escaping. Just let it all go. Easy, natural, peaceful. The champagne bottle is dark, usually green, sometimes brown, never clear. This isn't just aesthetics. The dark glass protects the wine. Ultraviolet light degrades wine, changes its chemistry, ruins its flavor. Dark glass filters UV, blocks it, keeps the wine stable, keeps it from changing. The color is function, not just form. The glass is thick, much thicker than regular wine bottles. Hold a champagne bottle in one hand and a regular wine bottle in the other. Feel the difference. The champagne bottle is heavier, substantially heavier. That weight is glass, material, strength, the thickness required to contain pressure, to prevent rupture, to ensure safety. The punt, that indentation in the bottom, serves multiple purposes. It strengthens the bottle. The curved surface distributes pressure more evenly, is less likely to fail than a flat bottom would be. It also allows bottles to be stacked securely. The punt of one bottle nestles into the base of another, stable, space-efficient, practical, and it provides a place to grip when pouring. Your thumb goes in the punt, your fingers spread around the base. A stable, secure hold, especially important for large bottles, heavy bottles, magnums and larger. The punt makes them manageable, makes pouring controlled, makes service elegant. The wire cage, called a muselet, holds the cork in place, always twisted exactly 6 times. This is tradition. This is standard. 6 twists. No more, no less. Why 6? No one's entirely sure anymore, but it works. 6 twists is enough, is secure, is what everyone expects. So 6 twists it remains. The foil capsule covers the cork and wire cage. This is purely decorative now. Once, it served to protect the cork, to keep it clean, to prevent insects from damaging it. But modern corks are sealed better, don't need protection. The foil remains for aesthetics, for tradition, for the ritual of unwrapping, for the anticipation before opening. Every element of the champagne bottle serves a purpose, has a reason, has a history, and tonight, we're going to explore all of it. The glass, the shape, the cork, the pressure, the danger, the innovation, the transformation from explosive hazard to reliable vessel, from death trap to celebration. But first, we need to go back to before champagne bottles existed, back to when champagne itself was accidental, unwanted even, back to monks and cellars and exploding bottles, back to when bubbles in wine were considered a flaw, a problem, a curse. Let yourself drift backward through time, through the centuries, back to 17th century France, to the Champagne region, to a world of monasteries and vineyards and careful winemaking, a world about to discover something new, something they didn't want, something that would eventually become one of the world's most celebrated beverages, but they didn't know that yet. All they knew was that their bottles were exploding, their cellars were dangerous, and they needed to solve a problem. They needed to understand what was happening, and they needed stronger bottles. The year is 1668. The place is the Abbey of Hautevillers in the Champagne region of France. A Benedictine monk named Pierre P. Rignan, known as Dom P. Rignan, has just been appointed cellar master. His job is to manage the abbey's wine production, to oversee the vineyards, to ensure quality, to generate revenue for the monastery. Dom P. Rignan is skilled, knowledgeable, dedicated. He takes his role seriously. Winemaking is important work. Wine is used in mass, is sold for income, is part of the monastery's contribution to the world. Making good wine matters. Making consistent wine matters. Making wine that doesn't have problems, that matters most of all. And there's a problem. A persistent, dangerous, expensive problem. The wine keeps developing bubbles, keeps becoming effervescent, and when it does, bottles explode, corks blow out, wine is lost, glass shatters. It's a disaster. This happens in spring. After winter, the wine has been made in autumn, fermented, clarified, bottled, stored in cool cellars. All seems well, but then spring arrives, temperatures rise, and the wine wakes up, starts fermenting again, producing carbon dioxide, creating pressure, until something gives, usually the bottle, sometimes the cork. Either way, wine is lost and danger is present. Dom P. Rignan doesn't want bubbles. Nobody wants bubbles. Bubbles are a flaw, are a mistake, are evidence of incomplete fermentation, of poor technique, of failure. The goal is still wine, quiet wine, wine without gas, wine that sits peacefully in the bottle, wine that doesn't explode. But despite his best efforts, despite his skill, the bubbles keep appearing. The explosions keep happening. Some years are worse than others. In bad years, they lose 20% of bottles, 30%, sometimes half. The cellars are dangerous. Workers risk injury. Glass everywhere. Wine wasted. Money lost. Let your breathing be like still wine. Quiet, calm, no bubbles, no pressure. Just smooth, peaceful flow, in and out. Steady, serene. Dom P. Rignan tries everything. Different fermentation timing, different temperatures, different clarification methods. Nothing completely stops the problem. The wine still develops bubbles sometimes. The bottles still explode sometimes. It's frustrating, expensive, dangerous, but here's what's interesting. While Dom P. Rignan and other French winemakers are trying to eliminate bubbles across the English Channel, the English are doing something different. They're deliberately creating bubbly wine. They're adding sugar to cause fermentation. They're embracing the bubbles, finding them delightful, desirable, special. Why the difference? Partly cultural. The French wine tradition valued stillness, clarity, predictability. The English, less bound by winemaking tradition, were willing to experiment, were curious about this phenomenon, were open to something new, but also technological. The English had better bottles. Their glass-making industry was more advanced. They had stronger glass, thicker glass, glass that could handle pressure better. So when they made bubbly wine, their bottles didn't explode as often. The risk was manageable. The reward worth it. English glassmakers had discovered how to make stronger glass in the early 1600s. They used coal furnaces instead of wood furnaces. Coal burned hotter, made glass that could be worked thicker, could be made heavier, could withstand more stress. English wine bottles were already stronger than French bottles before anyone tried making them handle carbonation. So when English wine merchants imported French wine and it arrived with bubbles, from the agitation of transport, from seasonal temperature changes, from incomplete fermentation, they didn't see it as a flaw, they saw it as interesting, as special, as something to enhance rather than eliminate. They started adding sugar before bottling, deliberately triggering secondary fermentation, creating more bubbles, more pressure, making sparkling wine, and their bottles could handle it. Mostly, sometimes bottles still exploded, but the success rate was high enough, the product desirable enough, the market willing enough. Back in France, Dom Pérignon heard about this, about the English taste for bubbly wine, about the market for it, and he realized something. Maybe bubbles weren't a flaw. Maybe they were an opportunity. Maybe, instead of trying to eliminate them, he should try to control them, to harness them, to make them deliberately, to make them safely. This was revolutionary thinking. This was accepting that nature was showing him something, that the wine wanted to be bubbly, that fighting it might be futile, that working with it might be wise. Dom Pérignon didn't invent champagne. That's a myth. Champagne, the bubbly wine from the Champagne region, developed gradually over decades. Many people contributed. Many innovations accumulated. Dom Pérignon was one contributor among many, an important one certainly, but not the sole inventor, not the creator, just a skilled winemaker who helped refine the process, who helped make it more reliable, who helped make it safer. One of his innovations was blending, taking grapes from different vineyards, different plots, blending them to create more consistent wine, more balanced wine, more complex wine. This helped champagne become a premium product, helped justify higher prices, helped create the reputation that champagne still has today. He also improved pressing techniques, handling of grapes, clarification methods, all the details of winemaking, each small improvement adding up, each refinement making the final product better, more reliable, more consistent. But the bottle problem remained. French bottles were still weak, still prone to explosion. Even with better winemaking, even with more controlled fermentation, the bottles limited what was possible, limited how much carbonation could be retained, limited how long wine could age, limited everything. The solution would come, but slowly, would require innovations in glassmaking, would require understanding pressure, would require trial and error and gradual improvement over generations, would require time, lots of time. Let yourself have time, all the time you need, no rush, no pressure, just time to rest, time to listen, time to drift, time to sleep. Time is abundant tonight, endless, unhurried, like the slow improvement of champagne bottles over centuries, gradual, patient, inevitable. Dom Pérignon died in 1715. By then, champagne was becoming recognized as a distinct wine, as something special. The Champagne region's reputation was growing, demand was increasing, but the bottles were still problematic, still dangerous, still limiting. The next century would see slow progress. Glassmakers experimenting, learning, winemakers collaborating with glassmakers, describing what they needed, what would work better, what would fail less often. A partnership between crafts, between industries, between people trying to solve a common problem. By 1800, champagne bottles were better, stronger, more reliable, but still not what we have today. still exploding sometimes, still heavy, still expensive, still a work in progress, the modern champagne bottle would emerge in the 1800s through standardization, through industrial techniques, through understanding of materials and pressure and engineering, through the transformation of glassmaking from craft to science, from art to industry, from mystery to understanding. That transformation is where our story goes next, to the glass itself, to how it's made, to why it works, to the chemistry and physics and engineering that make a champagne bottle possible, that make celebration safe, that make bubbles deliverable, that make joy containable. Until the moment of opening, glass is ancient. Humans have been making glass for over 4,000 years. The earliest glass objects date to around 2500 BCE. Mesopotamia, Egypt, simple glass beads, vessels, decorative objects. Glass was precious, rare, difficult to make, beautiful. The basic recipe for glass is simple: sand, soda ash, lime. Heat them together to extreme temperatures. The sand melts. The additives lower the melting point and modify properties. The result is glass. Clear, hard, brittle, useful glass, but making good glass, strong glass, consistent glass, that's harder. That requires understanding, requires control, requires technology, requires centuries of accumulated knowledge. For champagne bottles, the glass must be special, must be stronger than normal glass, must handle pressure without shattering, must be thick without being too heavy, must be dark without being opaque, must be exactly right. The process begins with sand, silica sand, very pure sand, quartz sand. This is the main ingredient, the foundation. About 70% of glass by weight is silica. The purity matters. Impurities affect color, strength, clarity. High-quality glass requires high-quality sand. The sand is mined, washed, processed, ground to consistent particle size, mixed with other ingredients. Soda ash sodium carbonate lowers the melting point, makes silica melt at achievable temperatures. Pure silica melts at over 3,000 F. Add soda ash and it melts around 2,300 F. Much more practical, much more economical. Lime calcium oxide adds chemical stability. Glass made with just silica and soda ash would be soluble in water, would dissolve, useless for bottles. Lime makes the glass durable, resistant to water, stable, permanent. For champagne bottles, iron oxide is added. This creates the green color. The darker the green, the more iron. Brown bottles use more iron, plus other minerals. The color isn't decorative, is functional. Filters UV light, protects the wine, keeps it from degrading. These ingredients, sand, soda ash, lime, iron oxide, and small amounts of other minerals, are mixed carefully. Proportions matter. Too much of one ingredient or too little of another affects properties, changes melting point, viscosity, strength, color. The mixture must be exact, must be consistent, must be controlled. Let your body be like molten glass, soft, flowing, without rigid form, relaxed completely, letting gravity shape you, letting support hold you. No effort, no resistance, just existing in whatever form feels natural right now. The mixture, called batch, is loaded into a furnace, an enormous furnace, industrial scale. Tons of batch loaded continuously. The furnace burns natural gas, reaches temperatures around 2,300 F to 2,550 F. Hot enough to melt the mixture, hot enough to make it glow, hot enough to make it flow. The batch melts slowly, takes hours. The sand dissolves into the flux of soda ash and lime. Chemical reactions occur. Gases release. The mixture becomes liquid, becomes molten glass, glowing orange, viscous but flowing, like honey but orange, like lava but controlled. The molten glass sits in the furnace, held at temperature. Impurities rise to the surface, are skimmed off. The glass becomes clearer, more homogeneous, more consistent. This is called refining. letting the glass purify itself, letting bubbles escape, letting chemistry complete. From the furnace, molten glass flows to the forming area. Here, bottles are made. Modern bottle production is automated. Machines shape thousands of bottles per hour. Consistent, fast, precise. But the principle is the same as ancient glass blowing. Use air pressure to shape molten glass inside a mold. A measured amount of molten glass, called a gob, drops into a blank mold. The gob is glowing, soft but not liquid, the consistency of thick honey. The temperature around 2000 F, still dangerously hot but workable. Shapeable air blows into the gob from below, creates a bubble. The bubble expands. The glass stretches, forms a rough bottle shape called a parison. This is the preliminary form, not the final shape yet. Just the beginning. The parison transfers to the blow mold. This mold has the exact final bottle shape. The parison drops in. More air blows in. Higher pressure this time. The glass expands against the mold walls, takes the exact shape. The punt, the neck, the shoulders, the body, every detail defined by the mold. The mold is water-cooled. The glass touching the mold cools rapidly, solidifies, sets, but the interior is still hot, still soft. This temperature difference creates stress, will need to be addressed later. After a few seconds, the mold opens. The bottle, still glowing, red hot, is removed. It's recognizable now. Looks like a bottle, but it's still soft, still fragile, can't be touched or used yet, needs more cooling, needs treatment. The bottles move along a conveyor, through a lair, an oven. This seems counterintuitive. Why put hot bottles into an oven? To control cooling, to anneal them. Annealing is crucial. Is the difference between strong glass and weak glass, between reliable bottles and exploding bottles, between safety and danger. Glass under stress is weak, prone to shattering. The stress comes from uneven cooling. The outside cools faster than the inside, contracts faster, creates internal tension, invisible but real. The glass wants to shatter, is waiting for any excuse, a bump, a temperature change, pressure, to fail catastrophically. Annealing relieves the stress. The bottles go into the lair at around 1000 F, high enough that glass can still flow slightly, can still adjust, can still relieve stress. They travel slowly through the lair, over minutes or hours depending on glass thickness. The temperature decreases gradually, carefully. The glass cools uniformly, inside and outside cooling at similar rates. Stress prevented. Strength maintained. By the end of the lair, bottles are around 200-300 F, cool enough to handle with gloves, cool enough to process further, but still warm, still releasing heat. Breathe in warmth, breathe out cooling. Let yourself cool like glass, gradually, gently, from the warmth of day to the coolness of night, from activity to rest, from motion to stillness, naturally, inevitably, peacefully. After annealing, bottles are inspected. Machines check for defects. Cameras look for cracks, bubbles, thin spots, dimensional errors. Sensors check wall thickness. Every bottle must meet standards, must be strong enough, safe enough, right enough. Rejected bottles are crushed. The glass, called cullet, returns to the furnace, gets melted again, becomes new bottles. Nothing wasted. Continuous cycle. Glass is infinitely recyclable, can be melted and reformed endlessly without degradation. This is one of its beautiful properties, one of its advantages over many materials. Accepted bottles move to finishing. The rim, the top edge, is heated and fire polished. This smooths it, strengthens it, removes micro cracks that could propagate, makes it safe, makes it perfect. Sometimes a coating is applied, a thin layer that makes the glass more scratch resistant, more slippery. Bottles slide against each other without abrading, last longer, stay clear longer. Small detail but meaningful. The finished bottles are inspected again, then packaged, palletized, shipped to champagne houses, to wineries, to bottlers, ready to be filled, ready to contain pressure. ready to do their job. From sand to bottle takes about 24 hours. Most of that is controlled cooling. The actual forming takes seconds. The chemistry and physics take hours. The attention to detail constant. The standards strict. The result reliable. A champagne bottle weighs about 900 grams, almost 2 pounds. Empty, that's a lot of glass. Much heavier than a regular wine bottle. At 500,600 grams, that extra weight is strength, is safety, is engineering. The walls are about 8 millimeters thick at the base, 6 millimeters at the body, 4 millimeters at the neck. Varying thickness optimizes strength where needed, minimizes weight where possible. Every millimeter carefully considered, every detail designed. The punt is typically 20-25 mm deep. The exact depth varies by bottle, style, by producer preferences, but always deep enough to strengthen the bottom, always functional, always serving its purpose. The bottle can safely contain 6 atmospheres of pressure. Some can handle 8 or even 10. Tested, verified, guaranteed. The champagne inside will never exceed 6 atmospheres, usually is around 5-6, so the bottle has margin, has safety factor, won't fail, won't explode, can be trusted. This wasn't always true. Early champagne bottles failed often, shattered regularly, injured people, killed people occasionally. Cellars were dangerous places. Workers wore iron masks for protection, entered cellars cautiously, expected explosions, accepted danger. As part of the job, that danger drove innovation, demanded better glass, better bottles, better engineering. Gradually, over decades, bottle strength improved, failure rates dropped, safety increased. By 1900, explosions were rare. By 1950, almost unheard of. Today, effectively never, unless you do something foolish. Freeze champagne. The pressure increases. The bottle might fail, or heat it excessively. Same problem, or damage the glass, create cracks, weaken structure. These are user errors, not bottle failures. Properly made champagne bottles, properly treated, don't spontaneously fail, ever. The engineering is that good. The safety margin is that large. Let yourself feel that safety, that reliability, that certainty that you're held, supported, protected. Your body held by whatever surface supports you. Your mind held by the peaceful space of rest. Your consciousness held gently as it descends toward sleep. Safe, secure, reliable, like glass that won't break, like bottles that won't explode, like rest that can be trusted. Before corks, champagne bottles used wooden stoppers, wrapped in oil-soaked cloth, tied down with string. This worked poorly. The pressure pushed the stoppers out. The champagne went flat, or the bottle exploded. Either way, failure. The cork changed everything, made champagne possible, made bubbles capturable, made preservation achievable. The cork is as essential to champagne as the bottle, as the wine itself. Without proper corks, there is no champagne. Cork comes from cork oak trees, Quercus suber, native to Mediterranean regions, primarily Portugal and Spain, also North Africa. These trees have thick bark, unusually thick, 8 inches or more. This bark is cork, is harvested, is the source of all natural cork. The trees aren't killed. The bark is carefully stripped away. The tree survives, regenerates bark, can be harvested again in 9 to 12 years. Sustainable, renewable. The same tree can be harvested many times over its 200-year lifespan. The harvested bark is stacked, aged outdoors for months. Weathering improves it, mellows it, makes it more flexible, more workable. Then it's boiled. This cleans it, softens it, allows it to be flattened, made into planks. From planks, cork stoppers are punched out, like using a cookie cutter. A cylindrical punch cuts through the cork. Each punch creates one stopper. The grain must run lengthwise. This matters for compression and recovery, for sealing properties, for performance. Champagne corks are large before insertion. about 31 millimeters in diameter, much wider than the bottle neck. The neck opening is about 18 millimeters. The cork is compressed to fit, squeezed dramatically, almost half its natural diameter. This compression is what creates the seal, what holds pressure, what keeps bubbles in. The compression is achieved by a machine, a corking machine. The cork is loaded, compressed, jammed into the bottle. It happens fast, violently almost. The cork is forced in with tremendous force. Once in, it tries to expand, tries to return to its original size. But the glass constrains it, holds it. The cork pushes outward against the glass. The glass pushes inward against the cork. Equilibrium, mutual pressure. A seal, the cork's cellular structure makes this work. Cork is full of tiny air-filled cells, millions of them. These cells can be compressed, can change shape, but they're springy. Try to return to original shape. This gives cork its unique properties, its compressibility, its resilience, its sealing ability. Cork is impermeable to liquids and gases, almost completely. Some microscopic gas exchange occurs over years. This is actually desirable, allows wine to age, to develop, but it's minimal, slow, controlled. The bubbles don't escape, the pressure remains. The champagne stays sparkling for years, for decades even. The cork doing its job, reliably, consistently. Let your body feel compressed and relaxed simultaneously, like cork in a bottle, supported, contained, but not uncomfortably, just held, just gently constrained by comfort, by safety, by the boundaries of rest. But the cork alone isn't enough. The pressure in champagne is too high. The cork would be pushed out, would slowly creep upward, would eventually pop out spontaneously, days or weeks after bottling. Unacceptable. So, the cork needs restraint, needs to be held in place. Originally, this was string, twine tied around the neck, holding the cork down. This worked, but barely. The string could break, could stretch, could fail. Better than nothing, but not ideal. The wire cage solved this, called a muselet in French, invented in the early 1800s. Made of wire, shaped specifically for champagne bottles, twisted to secure, reliable, strong, perfect. The muselet has several components. A cap that sits on top of the cork, a wire that runs down the sides of the neck, and twists, always 6 twists, to secure it. The number 6 is traditional, sufficient, standard. Everyone does 6 twists. No one does 5 or 7, just 6. Why? 6, possibly because it's sufficient to secure the wire, possibly because early manufacturers found 6 to be optimal, possibly because someone did 6 first and everyone copied. The actual origin is lost, but the practice remains. 6 twists, always, universal. The muselet is applied by machine. The cage is positioned. The wire is twisted automatically, 6 times, quickly, consistently, thousands of bottles per hour, each one perfect, each one standard, each one secure. The cap, the part that sits on the cork, is often decorative, has the producer's name or logo. Some are collectible. People who collect these are called placomusophiles. Yes, there is a word for this. There's a community. There are databases and trading. Muselet caps as collectible items, as tiny works of art, as expressions of branding and identity, but functionally, the cap just distributes pressure, keeps the wire from cutting into the cork, protects the cork, keeps the cage from slipping. Simple, effective, necessary. Once the muselet is in place, the bottle is secure. The cork cannot escape. The pressure is contained. The champagne is sealed, will stay sealed until deliberately opened, until the wire is unwound, until the cork is removed, until the moment of celebration. The foil capsule covers the top, covers the cork and muselet, made of aluminum or tin or plastic, color-coded often, gold, silver, black, green, indicating different champagne types, brut, extra brut, Ross. The colors mean things, our communication. Our branding, the capsule serves little functional purpose now, is mostly tradition, mostly aesthetics, but it creates anticipation, creates ritual. You must remove the foil before removing the wire, before accessing the cork, before opening. These steps build excitement, build ceremony, build the experience of opening champagne. Labels are applied next. Usually two: a front label with the champagne house name, back label with legal information, alcohol content, production details, volume, everything required by law, everything needed by consumers. The labels are printed beautifully, often classically. Champagne houses value tradition, value history, value elegant design. The labels reflect this: simple, refined, timeless, not flashy, not trendy, just clear, beautiful, classic. Some houses have had the same label design for over a century, maybe small updates, maybe subtle modernization, but fundamentally unchanged. This is identity, this is brand, this is heritage. The label tells you instantly who made this champagne, what to expect, what tradition stands behind it. The bottles are now complete: glass, cork, muselet, foil, labels, everything in place, everything sealed, ready for market, ready for cellars, ready to age, ready for eventual opening, ready for celebration. But how did the wine get in there? How did it become carbonated? How did the bubbles form? That process is complex, is fascinating, is the heart of champagne making, and it involves the bottles in interesting ways. The bottles aren't just passive containers, they're active participants. They must survive the riddling process, the disgorging process, the final corking, every step demanding something from the glass. We'll explore that next. The méthode champenoise, the traditional method, the process that transforms still wine into champagne, the process that requires strong bottles, patient workers, careful attention, and time, lots of time. But first, rest in completion. Like a finished bottle, all components in place, all parts assembled, whole, complete, ready. You don't have to do anything more, don't have to become anything more. Just be, just rest, just exist in your own completeness, in your own sufficiency, in your own perfect adequacy. Let sleep approach like a cellar, dark, cool, quiet, a place of rest, of aging, of transformation, where time moves slowly, where pressure is contained, where everything is held safely, waiting, resting, being. Making champagne takes time, lots of time, and several distinct stages, each stage involving the bottle, each stage demanding that the bottle survive, withstand, perform. It begins with wine, still wine, made from grapes harvested in autumn, Chardonnay, Pinot Noir, Pinot Meunier, the traditional champagne grapes, each contributing different qualities, different flavors, different characteristics. The grapes are pressed gently, juice extracted without excessive pressing, without including too much skin contact. White juice mostly, even from red grapes. This is called blanc de noirs when made from red grapes, white from blacks. Paradoxical but achievable through careful pressing. The juice ferments, becomes wine. This is the first fermentation. Yeast converts sugar to alcohol and carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide escapes. The wine remains still, about 11% alcohol, dry, acidic, not particularly pleasant on its own, not meant to be drunk yet, just base wine, raw material, foundation. Different wines from different plots are made separately, kept distinct. Then the magic happens, the blending, the assemblage. The chef de cave, the cellar master, tastes every wine, considers each one's characteristics, decides which to blend, creating a consistent house style, or creating a vintage champagne that expresses one year's unique qualities. This is art. This is skill. This is the heart of champagne making. The blend is created. Different wines in different proportions, maybe 50 different components, maybe more, all blended to achieve a specific flavor profile, a specific balance. a specific excellence, reserve wines might be added. Older wines from previous years, adding complexity, adding depth, adding consistency. The reserve wines are like seasoning, used carefully, adding what's needed, balancing, perfecting. Once blended, the wine is bottled, but not finished, not yet. This is where the second fermentation happens. The fermentation that creates bubbles, that makes champagne. A mixture is added, called liqueur de tirage, sugar and yeast in wine, carefully measured, precisely calculated. This will cause fermentation in the bottle, will create carbon dioxide, will create pressure, will create bubbles. The amount of sugar determines the final pressure. Add too much and bottles explode. Add too little and the champagne is insufficiently bubbly. The calculation must be exact, must be perfect, must be right. The bottles are sealed, initially with a crown cap, like a beer bottle, not cork yet. The crown cap is temporary, will be removed later, but it's strong, can handle the fermentation pressure, is reliable, is easy to remove when needed. The bottles are stacked horizontally. In cool cellars, constant temperature, around 50 for F. The yeast works slowly, converts sugar to alcohol and carbon dioxide. The carbon dioxide has nowhere to go, dissolves into the wine, creates pressure, creates bubbles, creates champagne. This takes weeks. The fermentation, slowly building pressure, slowly transforming the wine. The bottles must contain this, must not fail, must hold, and they do. The glass strong enough, the seal adequate, the process controlled. After fermentation completes, the bottles remain horizontal, aging, resting. The dead yeast cells settle, form a layer of sediment. This sediment is called lees, and it's important. It contributes flavor, complexity, richness. The longer the wine sits on lees, the better it becomes. Legally, non-vintage champagne must age at least 15 months. Vintage champagne at least 36 months. But many houses age longer, much longer, 5 years, 10 years, even more. The aging is what separates champagne from cheap sparkling wine. The time is what creates quality, depth, excellence. Let yourself age like champagne, slowly, patiently, knowing that time improves you, that rest builds you, that stillness allows complexity to develop. You're not wasting time by resting. You're aging, developing, becoming more of what you're meant to be eventually. The aging is complete. The champagne is ready, but there's a problem. The lees, the sediment, it's still in the bottle, makes the wine cloudy, must be removed. But how? The wine is under pressure. Open the bottle and wine and pressure explode out. The sediment isn't. The only thing that would leave. The solution is ingenious, called riddling or remuage in French. The bottles are placed in racks, pupeters, a frame racks with holes. The bottles sit at an angle, tilted, initially nearly horizontal, maybe 45 degrees each day or every few days. Someone, a riddler, a remuer, rotates each bottle slightly, gives it a sharp twist, and changes the angle, makes it steeper, more vertical. Gradually over weeks, the bottles move from nearly horizontal to nearly vertical, neck down, upside down. The daily twisting dislodges the sediment, keeps it from sticking, encourages it to slide toward the neck, gravity helping, the increasing angle helping. Over weeks, the sediment accumulates in the neck, all of it, every bit, sliding down, collecting, ready to be removed. Riddling takes skill. The twist must be sharp but controlled. Too gentle and sediment doesn't move. Too aggressive and sediment clouds the wine. The right firmness, the right angle, the right rhythm. Master riddlers can handle 40,000 bottles per day. 8 bottles per hand, both hands working. Twist, turn, adjust, over and over, hour after hour. Rhythm, practice, mastery. Modern champagne houses often use machines, gyro pallets, automated racks that hold 500 bottles, computer-controlled, tilting and rotating on schedule, more consistent than humans. more efficient, but less romantic, less traditional, less artisanal. Some houses still hand riddle, value tradition, value craft, value the connection between worker and wine. The machines work well even, but there's something about human hands, about human judgment, about tradition continuing across centuries. Once riddled, the sediment is in the neck, collected, concentrated, ready for removal. This is called disgorgement, degorgement. The moment the sediment leaves, the moment the champagne becomes clear, becomes beautiful, becomes ready, the bottles, still upside down, are placed neck first into a freezing brine solution. Just the neck, just the top couple inches. The brine is at about 20 F. The wine in the neck freezes, becomes a plug of ice. The sediment trapped in the ice, frozen solid. The bottle is flipped upright. The crown cap is removed. The pressure inside pushes the ice plug out violently. The plug shoots out, takes the sediment with it, leaves behind clear wine, clear champagne, perfect, beautiful. But now the bottle is open. Pressure is released. Some wine is lost with the ice plug. The bottle is slightly underfilled, and the pressure is reduced. Needs to be restored to proper level. The dosage is added. Liqueur d'expedition, a mixture of wine and sugar, sometimes brandy. The amount and sweetness determine the champagne's final style. Brut, extra brut, second demi-sec. Doux. The dosage makes this determination, makes the champagne what it is, what it's meant to be. The amount of dosage also tops up the bottle, fills it properly, restores the liquid level, brings everything back to correct volume. And now, the final corking. The real cork, the mushroom cork, compressed and inserted, the mousse lid applied, the foil added. The champagne is finished, complete, ready. After years, sometimes, of process, years of waiting, years of aging, years of attention and care and patience, finally done, the bottles rest briefly. Allow the dosage to integrate, allow everything to harmonize. Then they're labeled, packed, shipped, sold, opened, enjoyed. The journey from grape to glass complete. The transformation from still wine to champagne achieved. The pressure contained. The bubbles preserved. The celebration enabled. Every bottle represents this journey, this process, this attention, this time. When you open champagne, you're opening years of work, centuries of tradition, decades of aging sometimes, all contained in one heavy green bottle, all held by thick glass and tight cork and twisted wire, all waiting for the moment of release, the moment of celebration, the moment of pop and fizz and flow. Let yourself appreciate that. The work behind pleasure, the time behind celebration, the patience behind joy. Everything worth having requires time, requires waiting, requires process. You don't rush champagne. You don't hurry excellence. You just allow it to develop, to become, to achieve its potential. Like sleep, you can't force it, can't rush it, can only create conditions and wait, can only be patient, can only allow, and eventually, inevitably, it comes. Sleep comes, just like champagne eventually becomes what it's meant to be. Given time, given patience, given proper conditions. Those conditions are here now. Darkness, quiet, comfort, safety. All you need is patience, is allowing, is letting sleep approach in its own time, at its own pace, without forcing, without demanding, without trying, just like a bottle aging in a cellar, just waiting, just existing, just letting time do its work. Champagne bottles come in many sizes. The standard bottle holds 750 milliliters, 3/4 of a liter, about 25 fluid ounces. This is the most common size. What you see most often. What's meant when people say a bottle of champagne, but there are others, many others, each with specific name, specific purpose, specific history. The split or piccolo holds 187.5 milliliters, 1/4 of a standard bottle, single serving, personal size. You see these on airlines sometimes, at hotels, small celebrations, individual enjoyment. The same champagne as larger bottles, just less of it, portable, convenient, sometimes dismissed as novelty but functionally legitimate. The half bottle or demi holds 375 milliliters, half a standard bottle, 2 glasses, small group, intimate celebration, or 4. When you want champagne but a full bottle is too much. Perfectly reasonable size, perfectly legitimate choice than the standard bottle, 750 milliliters, 4 to 6 glasses depending on pour size. The baseline, the default, the most common. Everything else is measured relative to this, twice this, 4 times this, half this. The standard bottle is the reference point. The Magnum holds 1.5 liters, 2 standard bottles, 8 to 12 glasses, dinner party size, special occasion size. The Magnum is considered ideal for aging. The wine-to-air ratio is better, less oxidation, slower development, better long-term quality. Collectors often prefer Magnums, pay premium for them, seek them for cellaring. The Jeroboam holds 3 liters, 4 standard bottles, double Magnum, significant celebration, wedding, anniversary, major achievement. The Jeroboam makes a statement, says this is important, says we're celebrating seriously, heavy, impressive, commanding attention. The Rehoboam holds 4.5 liters, 6 standard bottles, rare, special, you don't see many, typically custom orders, very special occasions, the size where things become impractical, hard to pour, hard to handle, hard to store, but impressive, undeniably impressive. The Methuselah holds 6 liters, 8 standard bottles, also called an Imperial in Bordeaux, but in Champagne, it's Methuselah. Biblical names start here and continue. The Methuselah is where bottles become spectacular, museum pieces, display items, conversation starters. The Salmanazar holds 9 liters, 12 bottles, 1 case, 24 pounds empty, 40 pounds full, requires 2 people to pour, requires strength, requires planning, not for casual use, for major events only, coronations, historic celebrations, once-in-a-lifetime moments. Let your mind go large like a Salmanazar, expansive, impressive, encompassing, then let it contract back to something manageable, something personal, something the size of 1 person resting, 1 body sleeping, 1 mind at peace. Both sizes are fine, both are valid, vast and intimate equally acceptable. The Balthazar holds 12 liters, 16 standard bottles, about 50 pounds full, truly massive, requires standing, requires both hands, requires help. The Balthazar is spectacle, is theater, is celebration made physical, made heavy, made real. The Nebuchadnezzar holds 15 liters, 20 standard bottles, the largest standard size, 60 pounds full, enormous, unwieldy, magnificent, named after a Babylonian king. The Nebuchadnezzar says we have arrived, says nothing exceeds this, says this is the pinnacle. Larger sizes exist but aren't standard, aren't regularly produced. Melchior 18 liters, Solomon 20 liters, Primat 27 liters, Melchizedek 30 liters. These are rarities, novelties, custom pieces, made for specific events, not part of regular production, not available commercially, just statements, just possibilities, just the outer limits of what's physically achievable. Why such large bottles? Partly tradition, partly showmanship, partly because aging benefits from size. The larger the bottle, the slower the aging, the better the development, the more complex the final wine. This is measurable, is real, is why collectors pay premium for large formats, but also celebration culture. The large bottle is event, is spectacle, is experience. Opening a Nebuchadnezzar isn't like opening a standard bottle. It's an event. People gather, photos are taken. It's memorable. It matters. The size creates significance, creates ceremony, creates meaning. Pouring from large formats requires technique. Usually, you need to people. One holds, one tilts. Coordination is necessary. Trust is necessary. You're handling something heavy, something valuable, something that, if dropped, would be disaster. Both physical disaster, glass and champagne, everywhere, and emotional disaster. Wasted celebration, wasted money, wasted moment, but done right, it's beautiful. The magnum pouring smoothly, the Jeroboam flowing gently, the Salmanazer releasing bubbles that seem endless. The show, the performance, the experience of excess done right, done well, done memorably. The bottles for large formats are still made the same way, still glass, still thick, still strong, but the molds are different. The forming is different. The handling is different. Everything scales up. Everything becomes more challenging, more expensive, more rare. The glass thickness for large formats is proportionally greater. A Nebuchadnezzar doesn't have walls only twice as thick as a standard bottle, even though it holds 20 times the volume. It has walls maybe 3 times as thick, more material, more strength, more safety. The engineering accounts for the increased stress, for the weight, for the risk. These large bottles are often hand-finished, the rim fire polished more carefully, the punt checked more thoroughly, every detail scrutinized. Because these aren't mass-market products. These are premium, are special, are worthy of extra attention, extra care, extra perfection. Champagne houses produce large formats in limited numbers. Magnums are common. Jeroboams are available but less so. Anything larger is rare, very rare, often requires special order, often has waiting list. The production is limited by both demand and complexity, not worth making many, not worth standardizing process. Each large format is somewhat custom, somewhat special, somewhat unique. The names come from biblical kings, except Magnum, which just means large in Latin. But Jeroboam, Rehoboam, Methuselah, Salmanazar, Balthazar, Nebuchadnezzar, all Old Testament kings. Why? Tradition. Someone started it. Everyone continued. The names are impressive, are memorable, are evocative. Better than 4-bottle or 8-bottle, more romantic, more fitting, more right. In your mind, you can hold any size, can imagine the split or the Nebuchadnezzar, can expand or contract your awareness. Right now, let it contract. Become small, become personal, become the size of just you, just this body, just this moment. No need to be impressive, no need to be large. Small is perfect, personal is perfect, just you size is perfect. Let yourself be a single serving size, a split, just enough for one, for you, no excess, no waste, exactly adequate, exactly sufficient, exactly right. Opening champagne is ritual, is ceremony, is performance. Done right, it's elegant. Done wrong, it's wasteful or dangerous. There's technique, there's tradition, there's right and wrong way. The bottle should be chilled, not frozen, never frozen, but cold, around 45-50 F. This temperature keeps the carbonation dissolved, keeps the pressure manageable, keeps the champagne from foaming excessively when opened. Cold is control, cold is sophistication. You remove the foil first, the capsule. There's usually a pull tab, a small ribbon of foil extending from the capsule. You pull, the foil tears, comes away, reveals the wire cage underneath, the muselet, and the cork beneath that. You untwist the muselet, 6 twists, counterclockwise, your hand gripping the cage, the other hand on the cork. This is important. The pressure could push the cork out spontaneously, prematurely. Your hand on the cork prevents this, maintains control, maintains safety. The wire comes loose. You remove it, set it aside. Now the cork is vulnerable, is held only by friction, by the glass gripping it, the pressure pushing, maybe 60 pounds of force pushing upward, trying to escape, trying to launch the cork. Your hand prevents this. controls this, allows you to decide when, not the pressure, you tilt the bottle, about 45 degrees. This increases the surface area of champagne exposed to the headspace, reduces pressure slightly, makes opening gentler, makes control easier. Professional technique, correct technique. What you should do, your hand grips the cork firmly, completely, covering it, containing it. Your other hand grips the bottle base, or better, the punt, thumb in the indentation, fingers spread around the bottom. Secure hold, stable grip, ready to control the opening. You twist, but not the cork, the bottle. You hold the cork stationary and rotate the bottle. Counterintuitive but correct. The bottle turns, the cork stays fixed. This gives you better control, better leverage, better outcome. The cork begins to move, slowly, the glass releasing it, the pressure helping, nudging it upward. You resist slightly, slow it, control it. Don't let it shoot out. Don't let pressure win. You're in charge. You're controlling release. The cork moves slowly, millimeter by millimeter. The pressure hissing, building, wanting to explode. You prevent explosion. Allow gentle release, and then the cork is out. Should be a soft sigh, a gentle fest, not a bang, not a pop, not a cannon shot. Those loud pops, those are wasted pressure, wasted carbonation, less sophistication, less control. The gentle sigh is elegance, is proper technique, is respect for the champagne. Some carbonation escapes as vapor, white mist from the bottle mouth. This is normal, this is fine, but it should be minimal, should be wisps, not clouds. The champagne should remain calm, should not foam, should not overflow. If it does, the bottle was too warm or open too aggressively. Should be avoided. Let your breath be like champagne opening. Gentle release, no explosive exhale, no forceful breath, just easy flow, pressure releasing naturally, smoothly, peacefully. The way breathing should be when you're truly at rest. You pour, tilt the bottle, angle matching the glass, pour down the side of the glass. This reduces foaming, keeps carbonation in the wine, rather than in the air. The champagne flows, amber or golden or pink, depending on type. Bubbles rising, steady stream of tiny bubbles. The signature of champagne, the visible proof of pressure released, of carbon dioxide escaping, of celebration beginning. You fill the glass part way, maybe half, certainly not full. Room needed for the bubbles, for the foam, for the aroma to collect. Overfilling is amateur, is wasteful, is wrong. Proper pour leaves room, leaves space, allows the champagne to be what it is. The bubbles rise continuously from nucleation sites, microscopic imperfections in the glass, tiny scratches, tiny particles. These sites allow carbon dioxide to escape solution, to form bubbles, to rise. The stream of bubbles is continuous from each site, will continue until the champagne goes flat, until all carbon dioxide escapes. Minutes for warm champagne, hours for cold champagne, days if you reseal. Though quality degrades, the bubbles are tiny in good champagne, fine, persistent. In cheap, sparkling wine, they're large, coarse, dissipate quickly. Bubble size indicates quality, indicates production method, indicates carbonation source. Natural fermentation creates fine bubbles. Injected carbonation creates coarse bubbles. Your eyes can tell the difference. Your tongue definitely can. You toast, raise glasses, make eye contact. This is tradition. This is etiquette. This is ceremony. Cheers, sant, sallied, prost, whatever language, whatever culture. The ritual is universal, acknowledging the moment, acknowledging each other, acknowledging celebration. The clink. Do you clink glasses? Tradition says yes, but carefully, gently, not smashing them together, not risking breakage, just touching rims, just acknowledging, just participating in ritual. Some say clinking glasses originated to slosh wine between vessels, proving no poison, ensuring trust. Probably myth, but meaningful myth. myth that expresses something true about trust and sharing and celebration. You sip. The champagne is cold, is bubbly, is complex. Flavors depending on the house, on the blend, on the aging. Toast, brioche, apple, citrus, mineral, cream. Hundreds of descriptors, thousands of nuances. Each champagne unique, each bottle a statement, a expression, a achievement. The carbonation tingles, prickles your tongue. This is carbon dioxide, is slightly acidic, creates sensation, creates texture, creates the distinctive feel of champagne, of sparkling wine, different from still wine, different from water, different from anything else, unique, distinctive. Champagne, the finish, the aftertaste, should be long, complex, evolving. Good champagne doesn't just disappear, lingers, develops, reveals more as it fades. This is quality. This is craft. This is the result of time and attention and expense and tradition, all contained in one sip, all experienced in one moment. The bottle on the table, still cold, wet with condensation. About 5 more glasses inside. The celebration continues. The toasts continue. The champagne flows. Time passes. Conversation flows. Laughter happens. Connection occurs. This is what champagne is for. Not the liquid itself, but what it enables, what it facilitates, what it celebrates. The empty bottle remains. Memory of celebration. Evidence of good times. Some people save champagne corks, mark them with dates, events, milestones, weddings, graduations, New Year's Eves. The corks become tiny time capsules, reminders of joy, of moments that mattered. The bottles often go to recycling. The glass melted, reformed, becoming new bottles. The cycle continuing, glass to glass, celebration to celebration. The material never dying, just transforming, just serving again and again. But some bottles are kept, displayed, used as vases or candle holders, decorative objects, reminders. The thick green glass beautiful in its own right, the shape distinctive, recognizable, even empty, even without label. You know what it is, what it held, what it represented. The champagne bottle as object transcends. Its function becomes symbol, becomes cultural icon, becomes shorthand for celebration itself. You see the shape in silhouette and you know what it means, what it represents, what it promises. Let yourself be like that, recognizable, distinctive, unmistakably yourself, even in darkness, even without words. Just your shape, your essence, your being, sufficient, complete, worthy. The champagne bottle appears everywhere in culture, in art, in film, in literature, in life, representing celebration, luxury, achievement, success, joy. The bottle transcends the wine, becomes symbol, becomes meaning. Paintings show champagne. French Impressionists painted calf scenes, garden parties, people drinking champagne. The bottles present, the glasses raised, the moment captured. Renoir, Manet, Toulouse-Lautrec, all painted champagne, all recognized its visual appeal, its cultural significance, its ability to represent a certain kind of life, a certain kind of moment. Film uses champagne as shorthand. Character opens champagne. They're celebrating, they've succeeded, they're happy, or they're wealthy, sophisticated, cultured. The champagne tells you something about character, about situation, about mood, without words. Just the bottle, just the action, just the symbol. Champagne celebrates victories, sports championships, won the game, spray champagne. The tradition of victory champagne, wasteful perhaps, certainly not appreciating the wine, but symbolic, public, communal. The champagne as statement, as exclamation point, as physical manifestation of joy. Where did this start? Racing, auto racing, 1967, Le Mans. Dan Gurney wins, sprays champagne from the podium. Spontaneous gesture, became tradition. Now, every racing podium, every victory, champagne spray. The bottles designed for this now. Magnum's chosen for volume, for visual impact. For the spray, other sports adopted it. Baseball, basketball, hockey, soccer, championship teams spraying champagne. In locker rooms, on fields, on courts, the celebration, the release, the joy made physical, made visible, made soaking wet. New Year's Eve is champagne's moment. Midnight, toast. Every year, every celebration, billions of bubbles, millions of bottles, all opened within minutes of each other. Synchronized celebration, global ritual, the champagne bottle marking time, marking transition, marking hope for the year ahead. Weddings need champagne. The toast, the speech, the raised glasses, the well wishes, the celebration of union, of commitment, of love. The champagne participates, witnesses, makes the moment more festive, more special, more memorable. Graduations, promotions, anniversaries, retirements, any milestone, any achievement, champagne marks it, elevates it, says, this matters, says this is worth celebrating, says you've done something. The act of opening champagne is itself ceremonial. The foil removal, the wire unwinding, the cork extraction, the pour, each step deliberate, careful, meaningful. You can't rush it, can't skip steps, must follow the ritual. The ritual enhances meaning, creates anticipation, creates experience. Christening ships, traditionally champagne, the bottle broken against the hull, the wine flowing, the blessing given, the ship entering service. This tradition continues, though many now use champagne substitutes, cheaper, less wasteful, but the bottle remains, the symbol remains, the meaning remains. Champagne sabrage, the art of opening champagne with a sword or a saber. Slide the blade along the bottle, strike the lip, the top breaks off cleanly, cork and glass ring flying, champagne flowing, dramatic, dangerous if done wrong, spectacular if done right, purely ceremonial, purely showmanship, purely excess, and yet undeniably impressive. Napoleon's cavalry officers supposedly invented sabrage, opening champagne on horseback, after battle, celebration, victory, the saber already in hand. Why not use it? The story might be myth, but it's good myth, compelling myth, the kind of story that doesn't need to be true to be meaningful. The champagne bottle in celebration is ephemeral. The wine is consumed, the bubbles disappear, the bottle is emptied, everything is temporary. The moment passes, the celebration ends. All that remains is memory, and the cork, if you saved it, and maybe a few photos, but mostly just memory. This is part of champagne's meaning, the ephemeral nature, the transient joy, the understanding that moments pass, that nothing lasts, that celebration is temporary, but that's okay, that's right, that's how it should be. The impermanence is part of the value, part of the meaning, part of the beauty. If every moment was celebration, none would be special. If champagne was everyday drink, it wouldn't mean anything. The rarity, the special occasions, the deliberate choosing, these create meaning, create significance, create value. The champagne bottle contains not just wine but possibility. Until opened, its potential could be perfect celebration, could be perfect moment. Opening it makes real what was potential, transforms possibility into actuality. This is the magic. This is the meaning. This is why the bottle matters. Let yourself contain possibility like a sealed bottle, full of potential, full of bubbles waiting to be released, full of joy waiting to happen. You don't have to open right now, don't have to celebrate right now, can just rest, just wait, just exist as possibility, as potential, as sealed vessel, containing goodness not yet revealed. The bottle knows what it holds, knows its contents, knows its purpose, but doesn't rush, doesn't demand, just waits, patient, ready, until the right moment, until the right time, until someone decides now. You can be like that, patient, ready, waiting for your moments, not forcing, not demanding, just existing, just resting, knowing that when the time is right, when the moment comes, you'll be ready, you'll be able, you'll rise to occasion. But not now. Now is for rest, for stillness, for being sealed and quiet and at peace. We've traveled far tonight, from exploding cellars in 17th century France to modern precision manufacturing, from Dom P. Rignan's problems to today's reliable celebration, from sand to molten glass to bottle, from cork bark to mushroom stopper, from pressure to bubbles to joy. The champagne bottle is engineering marvel, is cultural icon, is symbol of human ingenuity and tradition and celebration culture. It holds liquid under enormous pressure, contains carbonation that wants to escape, keeps wine perfect for years, for decades, reliable, strong, beautiful, every element serves purpose. The dark glass, the thick walls, the deep punt, the heavy cork, the wire cage, all engineering, all function, all necessary. The bottle looks the way it does because it must, because physics demands it, because pressure requires it, because safety necessitates it, but it's also beautiful. The shape is elegant, the green glass is lovely, the weight feels substantial, the appearance is unmistakable. Form follows function, yes, but function creates form that happens to be beautiful, happens to be right, happens to be perfect. This is good design. When purpose and aesthetics align, when engineering and art merge, when function creates beauty as byproduct, the champagne bottle demonstrates this, proves this, embodies this. The bottle has evolved over centuries, through disasters, through innovations, through gradual understanding of glass and pressure and carbonation, each generation building on the last, each improvement enabling the next, until we arrived here, at bottles that work, that are safe, that are reliable, that we take for granted, but you don't have to take them for granted, can appreciate them, can understand them, can recognize the history, the engineering, the attention, the care, the centuries of accumulated knowledge in one green bottle. When you open champagne next time, whether tomorrow or years from now, you'll know more, you'll see differently, you'll appreciate what you're holding, what it represents, what made it possible. The bottle isn't just container, is achievement, is story, is history made useful. But right now, no champagne needed, no celebration required, no bottles to open, just rest, just peace, just the quiet that comes when the party ends, when the guests leave, when the bottles are empty, when celebration transitions to contentment, to satisfaction, to peace. This is the other side of celebration, the necessary other side, the rest after excitement, the calm after joy, the stillness after movement. You can't celebrate constantly, can't be excited always, must have balance, must have rest, must have moments like this, quiet, dark, peaceful, restorative. The champagne bottle knows this, sits quietly in cellars for years, resting, aging, improving, not yet opened, not yet celebrated, just waiting, patient, still, the champagne inside developing, becoming more complex, more refined, more excellent. Through time, through rest, through stillness, you're doing the same, resting, restoring, becoming more of yourself through sleep, through downtime, through these hours of peace. This isn't wasted time, isn't lost time, is necessary time, is valuable time, is the time that makes everything else possible. The bubbles in champagne come from pressure, from carbon dioxide trapped in liquid, desperate to escape, held only by seal, by cork, by glass. When released, they rise, they flow, they create sensation, they sparkle, they delight, but they also dissipate, they disappear. They're temporary, ephemeral, beautiful because temporary, meaningful because they don't last. Joy is like that, doesn't last, can't be captured, can't be preserved, is experienced and then becomes memory, becomes past, becomes something you had. This isn't sad, is how it should be, is what makes joy precious. If it lasted forever, it would cease to be joy, would become normal, would lose meaning. So we celebrate, moments. We mark occasions. We open champagne for special times. We recognize that these moments are special because they're rare, because they're temporary, because they will end. And we're okay with that. We accept impermanence. We embrace transience. We find meaning in the ephemeral, and then we rest. We return to quiet, to normal, to everyday life, to sleep, to peace, to the baseline from which celebration rises and to which it returns. The baseline is important, is necessary, is where we spend most of our time, is where restoration happens, is where we prepare for the next celebration. Whenever it comes, tonight you're in the baseline, in the rest, in the quiet, not celebrating, not excited, not active, just being, just resting, just sleeping or approaching sleep. This is right. This is good. This is exactly what you need, what your body needs, what your mind needs, what your soul needs. If you believe in souls, the champagne bottle is sealed, the cork is in place, the wire is twisted, the bubbles are contained, all potential, all waiting, all peaceful. This is the state before celebration, the state of readiness, the state of capacity without expression, latent, dormant, resting. You are like sealed bottle, ready but not yet opened, capable but not yet expressing, peaceful, still, at rest. And that's perfect. That's exactly right. That's exactly what tonight is for. When morning comes, or afternoon, or whenever you wake, you can be opened, can be active, can be expressed, can rise and move and engage and participate. But now is for being sealed, for being still, for containing yourself peacefully, for resting completely. The champagne waits in cellars, years sometimes, patient, improving, aging, becoming excellent. You wait in sleep, hours tonight, patient, restoring, healing, becoming refreshed. Same process, different timescale, but same principle. Rest improves, stillness prepares, quiet enables. Let yourself sink into that enabling quiet, that preparing stillness, that improving rest. Let sleep overtake you completely. Let consciousness dissolve like bubbles disappearing. Let awareness fade like celebrations ending. Let everything become simple, become dark, become still. The bottle's story is told, from sand to celebration, from danger to reliability, from explosion to elegance. The journey complete, the history traced, the engineering explained, the meaning explored, and your journey tonight is nearly complete. From waking to sleeping, from active to still, from aware to unconscious. The journey simple, natural, inevitable, just letting go, just allowing, just accepting what comes. Sleep comes like champagne flowing, smooth, continuous, filling, taking over, becoming everything. No resistance, no effort, just happening, just arriving, just being. The cork is removed, the pressure released, the sleep flowing in, filling consciousness, taking over mind, bringing peace, bringing darkness, bringing rest, complete, total, perfect. Good night. Sleep deeply, like champagne aging in caves, dark, cool, quiet, undisturbed, improving, becoming more of what it should be, like sealed bottles waiting, patient, still, full of potential, ready, but not yet opened, peaceful in the waiting, like empty bottles after celebration, purpose served, joy delivered, rest earned, completion achieved. However you are, aging, waiting, empty, full, all is well, all is right, all is exactly as it should be. Sleep now, rest completely, let the bubbles of thought dissolve, let the pressure of day release, let the celebration of consciousness end, let the quiet darkness of sleep take over, completely, fully, finally. Sleep.